We always save time at the end of the Thursday show to give out some personal plays here, Dave. We've had success with this segment of the show throughout this year. So simply put, what do you like in week 7?
Yeah, I'm going to change it up a little bit from the TD parlays to a couple guys I like receiving yards ladders on. It's going to be Mason Taylor for the Jets and Jahmyr Gibbs for the Lions. Mason Taylor, I'll go through these real quick. Mason Taylor, great spot. Panthers allowing 74 yards per game to tight ends, along with a touchdown to the tight end in 3 straight games. Garrett Wilson is out. Mason Taylor projects as our leading receiver in this game. If you throw out the London game, that was a total dud. He's got 6+ targets in 3 straight weeks. I only see lines at this time on Bet365. They'll surely come up around further than that, but you can get almost even money on 40+, which is underneath our projection, and plus money there and up. This might be another one I look at in the first quarter. Pretty simple pitch there. Jahmyr Gibbs, Lions. Bucks are allowing 55.2 receiving yards per game to running backs on 6 targets per game. So teams are seeing opportunity. It's not just one or two plays being broken. They're attacking running backs or attacking this defense with the running back through the air. Yards total is a little bit inflated with Bijan allowing or going for 100 receiving yards in week 1. But the Bucks have consistently allowed 30+ to running backs. We project Gibbs for 26.8, which is a top 5 mark for running backs this week. I think it's another good first quarter target for some plus money, at least for the low end of this, 5+ yards, 10+ yards. Maybe even if you can do receptions in the first quarter, if you can get plus money on 1 reception, that is absolutely a play for me. I will say Gibbs is down to just 2 targets over his past 3 games after 10, 3, and 6 early on. Is this a concern, Greg, as someone who's, watching all the Lions games, or should I just trust his skills in this plus matchup?
I don't think it's a concern. It's a good matchup. Oddly enough, what I'm going with for my play this week is his running mate, Sonic and Knuckles. I'm looking at David Montgomery. So we've both kind of circled ways to bet this Lions backfield this week. I wouldn't worry about any negative trends with Gibbs. If anything, he got a huge portion of the workload last week against the Chiefs. And I have a reason to believe Montgomery is going to be a little more involved. More on that in a moment. But even if Montgomery is more involved on the ground, I think it's conducive to Gibbs through the air being the threat.
Awesome. Yeah, well, then that's who I'm chasing this week are Mason Taylor and Jahmyr Gibbs receiving yards ladders. Hopefully we're looking at some really nice hits when we recap on Tuesday.
I love it. Okay. All right. So I just said what I was going to unveil as my favorite play of the week. I'm actually looking for a David Montgomery rushing attempts ladder. Now, I can't find this market available just yet. It will be by game time. Reminder, this is the Monday night game. A lot of his yardage props are out, and I will throw out this as well. Our model projects him at 49 yards this week. Is plus money to get David Montgomery to record 50 or more rushing yards. However, I'm going to lean on attempts and not yards here, largely because I like your guy better. I think Jahmyr Gibbs is the more talented of the 2 backs. If there are explosive plays to be had, I think it's going to be Gibbs. And if anything, Tampa is not super vulnerable against the run. They are vulnerable against the running backs who can catch, and that's why the Gibbs play makes sense. However, this is why I'm going after David Montgomery here. David Montgomery against Kansas City had 4 carries for 24 yards, and I was watching the game as a Lions fan. Now, the game script entirely called for having the pass catching back in the game. Jahmyr Gibbs was everywhere. They were playing from behind for the entire second half. They were not trying to waste time down 2 scores against Kansas City. However, this Lions team is always at their best when David Montgomery is getting extended long drives, not necessarily breaking 20-yard carries, but he's been known to get 6, 7, 8 carries on a drive that can last 7, 8, 9 minutes. I think this Detroit team is going to want to course correct here against a Tampa Bay team that is good enough to hold up against the run, but I think you can wear them down, especially given all the injuries on the offensive end for Tampa Bay right now. I expect Detroit to roll in this game. We've talked about how we think Detroit covering is a good play as well. If you believe that, I think you also believe they're going to manage this game the way they want to. David Montgomery's going to be more involved. Dan Campbell was at the podium this week saying we have to get Monty more involved than last week. I think it will be a very concerted effort. He only had one other game earlier this season with less than 10 carries in it. He had 9 against Cleveland in a blowout win. Came back the next week, got 18 carries. I think anytime Detroit has a guy that gets underutilized one week, they fix it a week later. He's so important to what this team can be when they're at their best. So again, we don't have rushing attempts available. At least I haven't seen a market for it yet. I'm assuming that's coming very shortly. But with our model saying they like right around 50 yards, and that's plus money, I think we're going to be able to get Montgomery 10, 11, 12 carries plus in this game, all at plus money. Give us 15 carries, give us 50 yards, and we take it to the bank.
Love it, man. I always love the insider takes, which is why I am always coming to Greg for my Lions information.
Hey, you know your team better than anyone, Dave. I know you
That's
know
right.
this as well.